Hey everybody, welcome back to Breakfast with Bob from the 70.3 World Championships in beautiful Taupo, New Zealand. My name is Bob Babbitt, brought to you by HOKA, Fly Human Fly, Master Spas, SFuels, Right Fuel, Right Time, Deboer Wetsuits, Quintana, and of course our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next guest, who is doing really, really well in the Ironman Pro Series, Danielle Lewis. How you doing, Danielle?
Hi, Bob. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me here.
It's always such a treat. Look how beautiful this place is.
It's a dream come true to be here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Have you raced here before?
No, I haven't. It's my first time in New Zealand.
And it's pretty special.
It's super special. It was some place I've always wanted to go ever, since I learned about it.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So with this season, 5th at Oceanside and 9th at Ironman Texas and 4th at Chattanooga, 5th at Challenge Roth. That was first experience at Challenge Roth?
First, yes.
What'd you think?
Oh, that was incredible. I mean, I've never had a race experience like that. And, I went there to try to learn some things with no expectations in mind. And I did learn a lot and was able to apply those things in Lake Placid, which ended up winning. So
yes,
it was a worthwhile trip for sure.
Well, and the cool part is all of a sudden you're, running consistently 248, 252. Mm-hmm. What has changed? It seems like you're running better than ever.
Dialing in some nutrition stuff.
Okay.
It wasn't that the ability wasn't there. With doing full distance, right, there's so many aspects to it. And it's not just the physicality of swim, bike, run. It's being able to put those things together over a long period of time and be able to sustain your effort. And you do that with your nutrition. And so I just had to make some tweaks and figure out what worked for me. Because in Texas, unfortunately, I had some really bad GI distress, was vomiting.
Yeah, that's never good.
I lost tons of fluid, and so I just kind of had to trot to the finish line and try to secure my slot for Worlds, which I did. But that race really did cost me a lot of Pro Series points.
Right.
Because I was running well, and on paper I should have had a good run, but the nutrition aspect was I just couldn't quite figure out what was going on with my stomach. And so, anyways, I dialed some things in at Challenge Roth, and then was able to apply that in Placid.
When you won in Placid, and winning at Placid, pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
25th anniversary, right?
It was. And
Mike Riley's announcing.
I know. When I learned that he was announcing, I told Andrew, I said, okay, we just have to go to Placid simply because this could be one of his last ones.
Absolutely.
And so I was like, we have to go do it. And I was like, and I want him to call me across first. I was like, I just want that to happen, and I made it happen. So
that is so cool. And were you concerned because you were doing? Placid and Roth were not that far apart.
2 weeks.
Yeah, but doing that back to back, sometimes you find out things about yourself that maybe I do better when I just basically recover a little bit and then go race.
Well, I've been an athlete, if you look at my schedule, where I can string together a lot of races and actually perform pretty well in having kind of a heavy race block. And so we figured that I probably would do well. And when I was at Roth, I did try to be pretty mindful about not really going to the well.
Right.
Just because I knew that the priority ultimately it was Lake Placid. And then when I went into Lake Placid, I felt great. Just took some recovery after Roth and kind of just started getting the body firing again and was able to perform. The only question mark that we have is, at Nice, my performance it was a very kind of average, nothing really spectacular, right?
11th, nothing wrong with that.
I know, 1 out of top 10 is like 4th and 11th are the worst places. So there was time between Placid and Nice to kind of recover and build, but we still question okay, was it a little bit much doing 2 Ironmans so close together? Did it ultimately affect Nice? Potentially a little bit. I think there are some other factors at play as well with that result, but it's just something that we need to consider kind of going forward. But I wouldn't change anything because what I learned at Roth was completely invaluable. If I didn't do Roth, I don't believe that I would have won Placid.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Just because you dialed in nutrition.
Correct. I learned, and it also probably was a big confidence boost to say, okay, this is what I can do, because I hadn't ever had a performance quite like that.
With a field like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You got Annie Hogg and then Laura Phillip. I mean, it's the best of the best. Mm-hmm. And you got 5th place and ran 248, won 826. That's pretty impressive.
And wasn't even that far off of the podium either. No. So that is certainly a big confidence boost.
So you've been, when I look at the iron distance, 105, 101, 105, 101, I'm going, if Danielle could get down to 55,
I know.
50, and of course, when you start talking about minutes in swimming, that's hard.
Yeah. Okay. So you're saying that, and it's so funny because like after some of those performances, people would reach out and be like, man, if only you could swim. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what I've been saying since I started triathlon. If only I could swim. Like, I'd be pretty good, right?
You already are pretty good.
But I mean like pretty good.
Yeah.
And I know this, right? But it's consistently gotten better. It's not gotten better as quickly as I would like.
It never does.
No.
Nothing comes fast.
And honestly, it's like if you look at like my triathlon career, my results, so many of them, it's just dependent on on the swim. There's been a lot of weight tied with the swim.
Yes.
And honestly, to be honest, like just very upfront with you, I mean, that's probably one of the reasons that's kind of slowed my progress is because of that mental weight and pressure that's put on the swim.
Right.
And so when you're in the water and in training on those days you're not feeling good, then you can kind of like beat yourself up and then you just don't go anywhere, right?
Right.
So that has been very challenging to work through and get over the past few years. But I mean, right now I'm in the best place I've ever been with my swim.
Yes.
I feel as confident in it than I've ever felt. So I mean, we'll just see what happens.
So where do you stand right now in terms of the Pro Series and the points? I'm like, I need a mathematician to help me out with this stuff. But so right now I have you are...
I'm at 5th right now after the last Western Australia race, which I didn't do, but that result affected where it was.
Yeah. So you're 5th, and that's right now, that's 70K.
That's not bad.
No, that would be really cool.
Is that 50?
Wait? No, I'm sorry.
No, you're
5th
wrong.
is
That's 50.
50K.
That's
50K for 5th. It's 70K for 4th.
Correct.
So the range that you could, if you have your race and finish on the podium here, how high can you get? Jackie Herring's like number 1.
Yeah. So my husband and I have done a lot of math, and he
I
being
hate that we have to do math in this sport.
Oh, it's so exciting. I don't know.
You like it. Okay.
It just adds a whole different dynamic. Before it was just kind of like each race was just an individual type of thing. Like this would just be a world championship, right? But it's not just that. It's not just a story about who's going to podium.
Right.
There's so many underlying stories, which is going to be really fun to talk about and follow on race day.
It gives you a lot of stuff as a commentator. It's like, well, if so-and-so, we were just talking to Matthew Marquardt, and he's got, Gregory Barnaby right now is in first, but realistically, if he beats him, if Matthew beats him and finishes within 8 minutes of the winner, then he could win $200,000.
Sure. I think the men kind of have some more interesting storylines when it comes to those top 3 places, because I think for the women as it stands, if Kat finishes, I mean, she should win.
She should win, right.
Yep. Jackie has a good Jackie day. She could be in second. But I think the real story, if you look at Lottie Wilms, she had a spectacular race in Western Australia.
Yeah, she's up to 4th now, right?
She could get second, Bob.
Wow.
So she's going to be one to watch, and I hope that people do watch her. And then myself, I think 4th is realistic.
Yes.
If I just have a performance that I know that I can have on the day, I think 4th is very realistic. I think I was telling you before if I could get 3rd. I think if Lottie doesn't.
If she doesn't finish.
If she doesn't finish.
Yeah.
But we're not rooting for that by any means.
Never.
So anyways.
That's what's great about this sport. It's all about the camaraderie of the athletes, and you're racing yourself, and you're racing a course, and whatever happens with everybody else, that's their deal.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, for this, it's all about just getting out there, racing as fast and as hard as you can, and then everything's going to shake out how it's meant to.
So Alan Voisard, good friend of myself and our Challenge Athletes Foundation, has been working with you a little bit in the swimming. Has that been helpful?
Yes, he's been helping a lot a bit in the swimming.
Okay.
It's been incredibly helpful. There was just a few things that weren't quite clicking, and he was able to quickly spot them, and the way that he teaches things really connects with me. I think the unique thing about swimming is that you can take one concept and explain it 10 different ways. 9 of those ways might not make sense, but it's just that one way where it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yes.
And so how he teaches me has really connected with how I think and how I operate. And it's been really great working with him. I've seen a lot of progress.
Very cool. So hopefully we'll see a fast swim for you.
I mean, yeah, I would hope so. With this course, it's going to be all about getting out and trying to make a good pack. The good thing, which is interesting, there's such a big field here.
So big.
There's nearly 60 women, somewhere between 50
and
60.
90
I mean,
who qualified.
I know. So it's a lot of people. So, I mean, I should always have somebody.
You should have some feet to sit on. Just make sure they're fast.
Yeah, I know. So that's going to be the big key.
Yeah,
is making that first turn buoy.
Well, and it's so interesting. I remember a number of years ago with Sam Long was, working on, because you could swim in a pool all you want, but it's understanding you've got to go out so hard right at the beginning of the swim, or else you lose everybody.
Yep.
It'll mellow out a little bit, but if you're not there, it's.
And we have a lot of the women in the field. Honestly, well, I was going to say too, I think this is the largest and most competitive or talented field that I've ever raced in at a world championship.
Yes.
If you look at the start list.
Oh, the start list is crazy.
Yeah. So you have a lot of women that have been doing the T100 races.
Well, you guys, Julie Duron, who's an Olympic silver medalist, and
ITU athletes in there. So yeah, it's going to be very fast again.
And have you had a chance to get on the course yet?
We arrived Saturday. We did some training around town on Sunday. So, we're going to try to get out there today on course and see things.
Yeah, because it's interesting from the bike course. It's like over 2,000 feet of climbing, but it seems like a lot of it is early, right? When you're getting out of the water, and that's that a lot of there's going to be a lot of challenges early on in that bike course.
We're going to go take a look at it after we talk here, so I can get some eyes on the course. I am expecting the race to be very fast and be some fast times. However, I think the bike might not be quite as fast as I was originally expecting.
Because of the roads.
Because the road surface is so rough here.
It is rough. And it's like we were just chatting with Mark Allen, and he was talking about training here years ago, and just like you have to be basically understanding that what used to be 20 miles an hour is 15. It's like you just have to understand that you're not going to be able to go as fast as you normally do. Yep. This Ironman Pro Series has been really good for you and for so many other women. Talk a little bit about this is the T100 series is out there, the Pro Series is out there, Super League is out there. It's a pretty cool era to be a pro. It
really is. There are so many options and opportunities for athletes with all different strengths and abilities. And the Pro Series I found for myself is one of the best opportunities for me.
Yeah.
Just because I do love the Ironman full distance, and I
can tell.
Can do pretty well at the 70.3 distance. So, when it comes down to kind of where I'm ranked right now, I'm a little bit lower than I would like to have been, because I can kind of look back at the races I've done this year and see where I've either messed up or I've learned something. I should say, right. So anyways, but it's exciting. I mean, even if I do end up in 5th or 6th, right? The payout at the end of the year is just
it's $50K for 5th, right? Something like that.
It's life-changing for triathletes, because historically there's just not much money in the sport.
No.
So it's such a good opportunity.
When I look at like you went to Nice and, like you said, 11th overall. That bike course is just such an epic course with 8,000 feet of climbing and all the descents. Is it one of those things while you're in the midst of it that you can enjoy it, or is it one of those things just keep this thing upright?
Well, you definitely enjoy it. I mean, I think it's a really fun course.
Yes.
As a cyclist, I like courses like that. I was alone for quite a bit of it, so I could kind of look around and be like, oh, this is pretty cool out here. But of course, most of that kind of enjoyment comes in the days before the race.
Right, before you're racing.
Because when you're in the thick of it, you're just focused on getting the job done.
Yeah, exactly. You look at Placid, I know you won Oregon last year. What do you look at as your best race?
I would probably say Placid makes sense.
Don't you think?
It does make sense.
25th anniversary, Mike Riley calling you across, just all the little trappings of it.
But even the things that I went through, I had 15-minute deficit out of the water.
Were you 15 minutes down?
Yeah, we don't have to talk about it. But that was...
105.
That's a problem. That was a thing. That was a problem.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I got onto the bike and actually was able to catch some of my main competition by around mile 80, but then I crashed my bike.
You crashed at Placid.
I crashed at Placid. I just had just kind of come through a section where I was really kind of pushing it because I was trying to make some space between myself and competition, going down a fast descent with a sharp corner at the bottom, and I just overcooked the corner, ended up flipping over my handlebars.
Oh my God.
I know. It's kind of a really cool video, and thankfully it was all captured on camera.
But no,
I mean,
compromised?
I literally, and when I say I flipped, I literally endoed the bike and flipped on my back. But I think I landed mostly on like soft tissue.
Yes.
And so when that happens, you have a bunch of adrenaline going through your body, right? And my first thought is, okay, am I okay? I think so. I don't feel anything really hurting. Okay, that's good. Okay, how's my bike? Okay, put my chain back on. That's good. Okay, everything's good. Let's get back on the bike. Got on the bike, and I was like, I'm just going to take my time and feel things out and just see how I'm doing. Because I still have a marathon to run.
Right.
And remarkably, my neck was pretty sore. I think I had a bit of whiplash. So being an aero was pretty painful. So I had to sit up quite a bit more on the way back into T2. My handlebars were a bit crooked. I mean, but I made it into T2 and then was able to run a course record marathon.
Yes, you did. That's so cool. Yeah.
I think so. Yes, I won, but I also had to overcome a lot to get there.
Well, plus it was 2 weeks after Challenge Roth.
Add that to the mix.
Which one of the best races you've ever had too. Mm-hmm. So that's a pretty cool stretch. Mm-hmm. And then did you feel that when you went to when you went to Nice?
The fatigue?
Yeah.
I didn't think that I did. But the whole day pretty much at Nice, I just kind of felt a little flat. I didn't really feel super fresh.
Right.
But I think there were some other things at play. I don't know if I ate enough perhaps the week. I don't know.
Nice is a longer day too.
But being in a foreign country and not fully having everything you're used to,
right.
Maybe my croissant strategy wasn't like the best. I think there's more fat in there than carbs.
Well, and you're like, Roth is at 8:26. This is 9:33. It's like an extra hour of high effort.
Right. And I got to the point also in Nice, I remember feeling like I'm taking stuff in, but I just don't feel like it's doing anything for me.
Okay.
I was taking fuel, but it just...
Well, and sometimes you could have the same fuel strategy at two different races, and one it works and one it doesn't, right? You're constantly adapting that.
Right. Yeah. So I'll just apply it to the next time we're in Nice.
Next time you go to Nice, which will be now this next year. Will the plan be Ironman Pro Series again? I'm guessing.
That makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's perfect for you with finishing up in Kona.
Right.
Yeah, which would be really fun too. Love it. And obviously now, so on race day, will you be trying to figure out where other people are, or are you just worried about just do your thing?
Most of it is going to be just do my thing, go fast from the gun.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do. I think some of those tactics might come into play. Maybe if you come across some of those, because there are some people, I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over the place.
No.
There are some people that I know that I have to beat and beat by a
X
lot,
amount of time.
right?
Yeah.
And so if I come across them on the bike, I'm not going to want to pull them with me.
No, right.
I'm going to have
want to accelerate and get the hell out of there.
That's what you have to do.
Right.
Or if I see someone ahead of me that I also need to be on the run,
right.
I'm going to have to just dig really deep and go after it.
Which is fun.
But still, I'm just going to try to go as fast as I can on the day.
Well, that's been your philosophy for you. You sort of had to, because you're coming out of the water, pretty easy to find your bike, right? You're the only
Oh, come on. Stop it. Maybe early on. It's gotten better.
It has gotten better.
It's
definitely gotten better.
I'm not the last bike in transition anymore, Bob.
See, you can find
it's like halfway.
So you're like, where's there's three of us here.
Yeah.
But with Alan Voisard on your team, hopefully that'll be a big help. Best swim ever coming up this weekend.
That's truth.
Right?
It will be.
It will be.
Yes.
I love it. Thank you so much for taking time. You're
Thanks,
always
Bob.
a fun to chat with. I love that. And now you'll spend the winter in Boise doing winter stuff? What do you do?
Normally we go down to Arizona for a few weeks, but we're not doing that this year. Just kind of not working out with our kind of life schedule. So we're going to be in Boise. I'm trying to think of some different things to do to kind of mix up training.
Cross-country skiing, right?
I thought about snowshoeing.
Yeah.
I have to ask Jackie for some tips.
Jackie Herring would help you out with that, I think. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you, Danielle.
All right. Thank you.
Danielle Lewis has been our guest. Everybody, again, Breakfast with Bob, 70.3 World Championship, beautiful Taupo. Hold on. We will be right back.